Hi everyone, it's Kate Kalthoff. Welcome to a Stamping to Share video. It's February 21st of 2017 and it's the day that many of us have been waiting for because we can finally get our hands on this amazing glimmer paper assortment from Stampin' Up. This is something you've been seeing sneak peeks of, I am sure. In fact, I was one of those that put out a sneak peek of this paper. You can see this gorgeous card I made. I'll link it below. But it is so much fun. It's an assortment pack of glimmer paper. You get sweet sugar plum, Bermuda Bay, and mint macaron. It's a 6x6 paper pack and you'll be getting 4 of each of these beautiful colors. And it's so awesome in real life. You'll hardly be able to take your eyes off of it. I love it, love it, love it. And I'm sure it's going to be extremely popular. The other item that I was very excited about was this Make a Medallion stamp set. And this is the card that I created and I will be sharing this with you today. It's a really fun, kind of a little bit different fold card and I'll show you exactly how to recreate this. And then we also have one more item in the Sale-a-bration lineup, and it is this one, and it is called Reverse Words. So I'll bring it up close so you can see, but when you stamp the words, you get like a watercolor wash around the words, which makes it sort of a reverse look. And I haven't played with it yet, but I do have plans to play with that soon. But today, like I said, we're going to play with the Make a Medallion stamp set. So let's go ahead and get started, and I'll teach you how to create this. One thing that I didn't realize is these are actually layering medallions. So you stamp one medallion and then you can stamp the other one over the top of it to get a two-toned medallion, which is so much fun. So that is what I was really excited about. So let's go ahead and do our stamping first. I have my Stampin' mat here because this is a photopolymer stamp set. I've just got a piece of scrap paper here. And we are going to start with a little scrap of very vanilla paper. I've got crumb cake ink for the first medallion, and I'm just going to ink that up. And then I'm just going to stamp this right here onto this little scrap of very vanilla paper. Then what I want to do is bring in the other color of ink, which is Bermuda Bay, and I've got my medallion ready to go. I'm going to ink it up, and then because this is a little tricky with the camera in my way, I'm going to do my best to get this lined up. And I've just gone ahead, I've stamped it over the top, and we'll see what kind of a job I did. Oh my goodness, it looks fantastic. Let me bring it up to the camera so you can get a real good look at this. And you can see how the two colors layer together, and it's so, so gorgeous. I just love that you can do that with this stamp set. And so I am going to now add a sentiment. There's a couple of sentiments with this stamp set. You can go with love, friend, or thanks. And I'm going to make this a friendship medallion. So I'm going to stamp the word friend right here. And again, look at how gorgeous that stamps. I'm going to, again, bring that up close to the camera so you can see it. It is so beautiful in real life. And I'm sure you can see that as well on the camera. So now what we want to do is cut this out, and we are also at the same time going to cut out a Bermuda Bay scallop circle. And so I did go ahead and do that in advance. So these are my layers. I have my magnetic platform, then I have my cut plate, then I put my my pieces of paper that I wanted to cut out. I have my Bermuda Bay here, and then this was the medallion that I stamped in advance so that I wouldn't have to run this through the Big Shot machine right on the video. So now I'm going to just go ahead and we're going to take some snail, and I'll just be layering this medallion right here on top of this Bermuda Bay scallop circle. Now this is a really, really skinny little circle around it, but it is so gorgeous and elegant. And let me go ahead and show you the layering circles that I used. So these are my layering circles from Stampin' Up. You get 8 straight edge and 8 scallops. And if you start with the smallest one and count back and forth, you'll get to the 6th largest on both sides, and that's what I used to cut out my medallion. So the 6th largest scallop and the 6th largest straight edge. The next thing that I cut out on the Big Shot machine is I used my Lots of Labels framelits, and I used the very largest one. And I went ahead and I cut that out, as you can see, again, using my magnetic platform, I have my cut plate below here and then a top plate, and just ran that through the Big Shot machine. Now I went ahead and I cut 2 of these at the same time, and I'll show you why in a second. I am thinking I'm only going to use 1, but if I need to, I will use 2, and again, I'll share why in a minute here. Let's get to the card base. So that is very vanilla, and it's 5.5 by 8.5, and I've scored it at 2 1/8 and then at 4 1/4. And what you're going to want to do is, again, run this through the Big Shot machine, and you are going to use the embossing folder called Lovely Lace. So the setup that I did for this is I have my Big Shot platform, and I am just putting down 1 cut plate and then of course my folder. And what I did is I just took the folder and I only lined it up to the 2 1/8 inch score line. Then I ran it through the Big Shot machine like that on its side, so I have another plate over the top, and just ran it through the Big Shot machine. One thing I do want to tell you about this technique before we move on is that these embossing folders from Stampin' Up! Are just maybe not even a 1/4 inch longer than what I'm showing you here, but it can give you problems if you're trying to run it through the Big Shot machine, because it has to be lined up exactly perfect in order to go through without the Big Shot rippling your edges. So what I did is I just cut this edge off. I mean, like I said, I only had to cut it off maybe not even a 1/4 inch, just so that I could run it through the Big Shot machine absolutely perfectly without having to worry about the Big Shot machine actually catching this edge. And so let me show you a folder that's not been cut so that you can see the difference in what I did. Here's one that is plain, and I'll hold it up, and you can see what I cut right here. Now you can just use a really sturdy scissors. I myself used a cutter, and I just cut one side at a time, and I just ran it back and forth over the top until that plastic had a good crease mark in, and then I was able to take my scissors and just finish cutting it out. And so that's what I did to make this folder just a tad bit shorter so that I could easily run it through my Big Shot machine. All right, but you can run it through without doing that. You just have to be really careful how you line it up. And now this is the card base, so let's go ahead and get this folded. So I'm just going to fold this in half at the 4 1/4 inch line, and then I'm going to fold back on the 2 1/8 inch line. And so you can see that it will open like this. So now let's go ahead and we're going to do a little bit of a ribbon wrap on this lots of labels panel that I've created. So I have some Bermuda Bay ribbon, and what you want to do is you actually want to start your ribbon on the back side as far, now this is the back side, so you're going to start it as far to the right as possible, and just put that down. And then you're going to wrap it around, and you are going to end it over here on the right side. When you're looking at it on the back, it'll be the right side. And let me show you why you're doing it this way. Just give me a second to cut this ribbon here, and I'll show you why it needs to be done this way. So we'll get the ribbon out of the way. It's because when you put this down and then you know you're going to be opening this card, you want to have a nice clean edge on this side. And so that's what you can do to have a nice clean edge. Otherwise you're going to see your tape or your adhesive on this side where you've attached the ribbon. But as it is now, it looks perfect and nice and clean. So we're going to attach this with Fast Fuse. Now you could also use multi-purpose liquid glue, which I'm also a big fan of using, but today I'm going to use my Fast Fuse. I'm trying to use Fast Fuse a little bit more. It is such a wonderful product. It's just that I had such a steep learning curve when learning to use it that I've kind of been hesitant to show it to some customers maybe who just need to master other products before they master the Fast Fuse. So now what I'm doing is I'm just centering this in and giving this a good press. But what I love about the Fast Fuse is it dries. I mean, it's instant, so you don't have to wait around for it to dry. So this is the back side now. You can see how clean this ribbon looks. Now, one thing we could have done with this panel is we could have layered this extra piece that I had cut. We could have layered that on before attaching that to the front panel. You don't want to layer it on after the fact, because if you do, it's going to hinder the way your card opens. As you can see, if this were attached now, we wouldn't be able to have that free-flowing openness that we have right now. However, you can always hide this ribbon if you want to with another panel. But we chose not to do that today. We're just going to keep it simple. So let's go ahead now and add our medallion. So to add the medallion, I'm just going to use some dimensionals. And 3 dimensionals is always a nice number when you're using a circle. So we're going to flip this over. We're going to put this medallion right here. And then for our perfect finishing touch, we are going to add a bow. I have a bow that I've created in advance with the 1/8 inch stitch Bermuda Bay ribbon, and I just put a glue dot on the back of it, and I'm just going to put this right here in the center, and we'll give that a little press. And our card is complete, and it's so pretty. I just love it. I hope you've enjoyed it too. Here's the one I had done in advance. Thank you so much for stopping by today. Enjoy this second half of Sale-a-bration from Stampin' Up! And have a great day. If you would like to place a product order, please visit my blog at www.stampingtoshare.com. I have links there to help you purchase exactly what you need in order to recreate this very card. Have a great day. Bye-bye.